comments on the game, then we'll take your questions.
Yeah, I'll open like I normally do to thank the fan base for a tremendous atmosphere. I thought they really impacted the game there a couple times when they were backed up, coming out, and had a great environment. Our kids continued to grind. That was a grind-like, workman-like win. That's a good football team. I really worried that our kids wouldn't respect or listen to us as coaches because we watched the tape, we know. And they did. They had a really good week of practice, physical week, and it's easy to overlook South Carolina because of the way we played them last year, but South Carolina has a really good football team. They're physical. Their quarterback is a really good player who's going to be around for a while. And they've got big wideouts that are tough to match up with. And up front, defensively, they've done a great job of improving their front. They've got really good size. So they did a good job against us, and our kids kept chopping. And it was a very workmanlike win, and I'm proud of the way we played.
Jake throwing 22 times, Kirby completed 16. You like his performance? Really played well.
Yeah, I thought he made good decisions with the ball. He understands where he wants to go. He understands what defenses are trying to take away. He continues to get better. He's got to continue to do that. He missed a couple things today that we thought he could have got, motions, some different adjustments, but we put a lot on the kid's plate, and he's done a good job managing that.
What did you see early on as far as that? I guess because Vandy, you opened up with all runs, and I guess Jake had more passes through 2 possessions today than he had all week. What did you see early on?
Well, those were actually runs.
What?
The runs that he was throwing the ball on, those were runs. It's RPO. So we were running the ball. They just weren't letting us run the ball. So he opted to throw.
You've talked a few times about, you know, your more lopsided wins being just kind of a situation of circumstance, and the SEC is about playing tied games. Is this more kind of what you were referring to when you're talking about those games, and what can your team learn from a game like this?
Well, they learned that you got to respect every opponent. I mean, it's going to be a tough physical game every week we go out and play. And there's nobody that we're not going to get their best shot the rest of the way, starting with next week. And it was the same case today. So, you know, it takes what it takes in the SEC. So if you're not willing to do what it takes, then you're not going to be there. And that standard doesn't change. And our kids practiced this week, and I almost had to taper them off at times because they were getting after it out there. And you're getting to that point in the grind in the season where you start accumulating injuries, guys start slowing down, so you got to make really good decisions about how you practice. And I thought our kids did a really good job this week of respecting the opponent.
Being the case, how huge is it to have a game like this where you do have to truly go minute 1 all the way to 60 with those guys?
Oh, it's great. I mean, I think that's going to happen more and more. I mean, I actually expected it to be closer than this longer. You know, I mean, they had a good football team. They had a quarterback. You got a quarterback that makes really good decisions. You don't make many mistakes. So you're constantly making the right play. He puts you in the right play. He makes the right decision. And he did that today. Well, ours did too, but theirs did as well and converted some third downs that we shouldn't have given up. And we played sloppy on defense on third down, which you can't do against a good team. You know, every one of those third downs they convert are 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 more carries for Nick, Sony, Swift, Ryan, Holyfield, whoever. So we've got some things we got to clean up in regards to that.
Coach, I mean, to open the fourth quarter, it was kind of a situation we all have had in a while in terms of the game being close. But I mean, the defense came out there, got a stop, and you had the fourth down stop and the interception later on. So I mean, what was kind of the message in the huddle, and how did the defense come into the call there at the end?
Well, first thing, we challenged the defense all week to win the turnover battle. That was a big deal because South Carolina has been on the positive side of that. And then I think they got the first one, you know, Terry's fumble. So it was like, you know, that they're opportunistic. We're going to go in, score there, take some momentum, and then we come back and get 2. One off of a pass rush that a guy gets hit on the quarterback. They got a guy wide open, and it's huge play in the game before the half for us to get the pick because they got a touchdown. Guys beat one of our guys deep. So, and then to get the pick late by Malcolm was great. And I thought the defense resiliency again. Just keep fighting, just keep chopping wood, and not point fingers, not get mad at each other when they convert third downs. And they did that. And Baker's stop was huge.
You guys, Coach, can clinch the East.
Turnovers.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. I was
sorry. Who came up with the idea for the shoulder pads with the turnovers?
Everybody asked me that. I think our weight staff came up with it with our defensive staff, and then it was in honor of the Spike Squad. I'm not the exact right person to ask on that. I believe Aaron Fels and the strength staff put it together for the defensive staff, and those kids take pride in it. They get it each day based on how they practice. So it's an honor to go out to stretch or flex with those on each day.
You guys can clinch the East tonight if Kentucky loses, but they were losing in the fourth quarter just a little while ago. I don't sense there's about to be a celebration or something about that. Most of these guys weren't even aware.
It's not going to be a celebration. I mean, what's there to celebrate? We're going to play Auburn next week, and that's what our focus is. Our concentrate, we control our destiny, so we're a lot more worried about us than we are Kentucky Ole Miss.
When you've been talking to alumni or former players, Georgia people from outside the football program, have they given you a sense that they appreciate especially how this season's been going?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of pride in this university. I played here. I mean, I get 100 texts when we win from people that are either I coached when I was here before or played with, and they're proud of the work we've done. But they don't measure races at the 60, 70, 80 meter mark. You know, they're going to measure them at the finish, and that's our goal.
So can you give an update on Terry Goffin's wrist, or whether it's kind of what happened in that play?
Yeah, he got banged on his thumb. He fumbled. He got a small cast put back on. He came back and played.
Will he be fine for this coming week, or is there no update yet as far as?
Yeah, he played. He played the rest of the game. So.
Right, but right.
So he's fine.
Can you talk about McColl's play today? I mean, obviously he had the big
Yeah.
third quarter with the touchdown and the down and the punt at the one, which he actually said was his favorite of the two plays.
You know, I thought that play, the touchdown pass was the play of the game because I think I was 35 or 36, I don't know what it was, but that's going to be a field goal. And to cash that in from 3 to 7 was a huge momentum swing. So that's a guy that's been working on those kind of catches for a long time, and he was well covered. And he made a big-time play and a big-time catch. Now, the downing he practices that a lot too, and he takes a lot of pride in that. And he did a good job. Those were very impactful plays, and I think when Terry went out, Miko got to be a little bit more of a factor.
You commented on Miko's ability, or just the work ethic through practice and everything. How much growth have you seen of him as he's learned this position since the spring?
A lot. I mean, and I still think he's got a ways to go. I don't think his potential's been met. Like I said, he was never a natural receiver. He's worked at it. But he caught the bubble today, I think it was, out there and made a play. He's making plays in space, and he's fast now. I mean, that's the one thing about him. You have to respect his speed, and we need him to grow up and develop. And I love his toughness. I love the way he blocks and does things.
Why did y'all decide to start with the onside kick?
Because it was there. And I want to be aggressive at the University of Georgia and not be hunted.
Coach,
hunt.
Sorry, Coach Ricardo mentioned when he talked about that kick, he said it was you guys saying you want to be the hunters instead of the hunted. How's that kind of play through the week of being the hunters as opposed to being hunted?
But it plays out by being aggressive. We're not going to change what we do. We believe in what we do. And football's an aggressive football game, and we're not going to sit back and play on our heels and say, hey, we're going to take your best shot. We're going to give you our best shot. And that's the way I think the game should be played.
That Hayden Hurst, but a good tight end, you'll see it, Kurt.
Player. I don't know how many catches he's got in this in 2 years, but he's gone, isn't he? I don't see that guy anymore. Not only that, he's physical, he's tough. I mean, he catches everything around him. Really good player.
What are the challenges of competing against a good friend and a former teammate? Challenges
that you are close to his family and you respect his family. And I saw his 2 sons before the game, who I've known for a long time, and I was working with him when they were born. And now he's a starting quarterback, and you know, chance to win a state championship as a leader and a quarterback. So I look forward to recruiting him and beating him on him.
Coach, after South Carolina had converted something like 3 of the first 5 on third down conversions, it looked like they would have won up their last 7. What was different for you defensively on third down situations? It seemed like maybe a little bit more intensity?
It seemed like more intensity. We certainly were harping on it. I think we had a couple batted balls, a couple knockdowns, tighter coverage maybe. What's crazy is the longer distances were the ones that we gave up, and the short ones we played better. But you know, I thought a huge momentum in the game was after the fake punt, which they executed well. The guys did a good job to go out and get a stop for a field goal. I mean, that just speaks volumes about our defense, and a lot of good players, a lot of seniors on that defense that will be dearly missed, you know, come next year. And those guys don't ever point fingers, they don't ever blame, they just keep chopping.
Well, obviously had that first touchdown in Jake's first game against that. How have you seen
Jake and Ron's connection kind of grow over?
I'll be honest with you, I've seen Jake's connection with all those wideouts grow a little bit. You know, he's gotten better and better. I think Javon's a big target. He's a tough matchup. I know they felt that way. I talked to their coaches before the game. They were very complimentary of our wideouts. And if they continue to improve, it makes us much more balanced.
Coach, you talked about this game was a grind. You guys got to go down to Auburn next week. Does that change the way this week goes for you to try and get these guys' legs back, or you just have to keep doing what you do?
No, the grind is real. I mean, the grind in the SEC is real. I mean, it's every week. In Auburn, we had a tough game today at Texas A&M. So, I mean, humility is a week away. So we'll get out there and go to work because that's what we believe in.
There were several times today when South Carolina receivers were running pretty open down the field. Was that more what they were doing right, or what, or defensive breakdowns in the secondary?
It's a tough question to answer. I don't know. I don't know which one you're referring to. There's one time they were running wide open because they ran a double move. One time they were running wide open because we didn't cover them. There's a couple times they were covered and caught the ball, but I don't know specific ones that you're talking about.
What about the rush defense specifically for you guys today? I mean, held them to, I think it was under 50 yards rushing.
Yeah, we pride ourselves on stopping the run, making people one-dimensional, forcing them to throw the ball. And when you play the way we play, there's going to be some times that they're able to throw the ball, but we want to suffocate them and force them to throw the ball. And we were fortunate to be able to do that today, to make them throw it. Now they did, and he's a good quarterback. I know his dad. I've known him for a long time. I respect him as a competitor, and he's hard to tackle.
Coach, what about the day Reggie Carter had for you? It seemed like this was his best game of the year.
I agree with that. I thought Reggie the calls he made, the plays he made, the discipline. There were some plays out there today that they tried to kind of gimmick or run a pop pass, and if you don't have disciplined eyes, they would have had that tight end wide open, and Reggie did that. And I think that's a credit to him. He was he's a really good kid, and he continues to improve.
Is that wildcat offense something you like to run, especially with Sony? I mean, he scored on that touchdown from the wildcat.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly really executed real well. I mean, there was a mosh pit in there, and it wasn't like we just gashed them. And there was about 3 or 4 runs a day that were Sony and Nick Chubb developed. Meaning, if it's not for Sony and Nick, they outplayed us. We just had better players. And that's why I respect South Carolina, because they did a really good job of attacking us. But there's times they had people in the hole and they just couldn't tackle Sony or Nick. So they'll be a force to be reckoned with.
What does a 16-play, almost 8-minute drive at the end of a game tell you about how your team is ready for fourth quarter?
Makes me proud of the toughness, the effort, the grind, the physicality with which they play. To do a drive like that, usually offenses stop themselves with self-inflicted wounds, but that was a really good drive. That if you cash that in with a touchdown, it's probably one of the best drives of the year.
Coach, I think you talked at the beginning of the season, one of the things you learned from last year was the practice after South Carolina last season. You felt like it was probably too tough on the team. Is that something you've reevaluated? Do you think that this team can handle a little bit more, or do you still feel the same way about that?
Well, let's go back. That was a short week. We had Vandy after playing on Sunday, so that comment was more in regards to that. And I think we played South Carolina a lot earlier in the year, maybe. I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, we've got to make good decisions. We use GPS now. We've got more time to track it. We've spent 9, how many games have we played? 9. We've spent 9 Thursdays in an indoor, where last year those 9 Thursdays were out in the solar panels, we'll call them. So we got a fresher team. We've got more players playing. So we have to be smart, but we also have to be physical.
Last question?
Kirby, just to follow up, you guys could be SEC East champions in like 2 minutes. The score's going either way. It's been a while since this program's done that. Is that not significant? I know you have bigger goals.
Yeah, the only thing significant right now is that I get back over there, talk to these recruits, and get ready for Auburn. Thanks, guys.